I'm used to the woods. I didn't grow up afraid of them. I was raised around them. Hardwood forests, creek bottoms. The kind of place where you learn the early difference between a wind-fallen branch and something that chose to move. That's why it took me so long to accept what happened to me when I went to the land between the lakes. Because whatever lives out there isn't an animal. And it's not a ghost either. It's something more ancient. If you've never been to the LBL, it looks harmless on the map. A long stretch of green wedged between Kentucky Lake and Wreck Barkley. Campgrounds, trails, boat ramps. It's a place marked as quiet. But when you're inside of it, you'll notice something strange. There are no corners. No matter how long you hike, the land doesn't break the way normal places do. Not like places I'm used to. There's no ridges, no natural boundaries, just rolling forest that deliberately seems confusing, like it was designed to make you forget which direction you came from. I decided to go to the LBL in October alone, and that was my first mistake. You see, I work as a field audio archivist. I document natural soundscapes for universities and conservation groups. Most of my work involves recording environments that are disappearing, places altered by development, flooding, and long-term human presence. And the land between the lakes kept coming up in interviews. Not in research papers from people. People who would lower their voice when they mentioned it. People who didn't want to say its name twice. People who would tell you where not to go before telling you what they'd heard. The stories always changed, but the details didn't. Something tall, something that walks upright, something that smells like blood and wet fur, and something that knocks. I told myself I was only there for ambient forest recordings. I was wrong. The ranger station was nearly empty when I arrived. A man in his late 50s sat behind the counter, drinking coffee that had nearly been reheated more than once. He looked at my overnight permit. "Backcountry?" he asked. "Yes, sir." He didn't stamp it right away. "How many nights?" "2. That's when he finally looked up at me. "Don't camp near the foundations." "What is that?" I said, "Don't camp near the old foundations." I laughed, thinking it was a small talk. "I won't." He slid the permit back to me. "And if you hear knocking, don't answer it." "What kind of knocking?" I asked. He paused. "The human kind." By the time I parked and started hiking, the sun had already gone low. The air smelled like wet leaves and iron-rich soil, the kind of smell you only get near waterlogged ground. The deeper I went, the quieter it became. No birds, squirrels, not even insects. It wasn't silence. It was restraint. It was like the woods was holding its breath. There was an anticipation to every creature that was in the woods. I was finding a clearing of what looked like an old stone foundation, just a rectangle of moss-covered rocks half swallowed by earth. I told myself it was coincidence. That was my second mistake. Night didn't arrive in the land between the lakes. It just drops. One minute you can see the tree line, the next darkness pressed in so close my headlamp felt useless. The beam didn't even scatter. It just stopped, like the air itself was thicker. That's when I smelled it. Wet copper. rotting leaves, animal musk. Something large moved beyond the clearing. Not pacing, standing completely still, almost as if it was listening. I clicked on my recorder and whispered the date and time, my voice already shaking more than I wanted to admit. Then something stepped on a branch. Slow, careful, and bipedally it moved. At 11:38 p.m., I heard 3 knocks. Not on a tree, but on a rock. Knock, knock, knock. Measured, intentional. My mouth went dry. I stayed silent. The knocking moved. 3 knocks on a tree trunk to my left. 3 more behind me. Then 3 to my right. Whatever it was, it understood distance. That's when it spoke. Hello? The voice was wrong. It sounded like it had been practiced. The voice said my name perfectly. Same cadence, same inflection. I felt my body betray me. My throat was tightening, breath hitching as if it were about to answer. Then I remembered the ranger. Don't answer it. The thing sighed. A long, disappointed sound. You're far from home, it said, still using my voice, but in a wrong sense. You don't belong to the water. I realized that it wasn't circling me. It was circling the foundation. I didn't mean to shine my headlamp towards it, but fear makes decisions for you. The light caught its legs first, too long, bit wrong, jutted and jointed like something that was learning to walk upright for the first time in its life. Then the torso, covered in patchy fur and scarred flesh, as if it had been burned and healed badly over and over and over again. When the light reached its face, my vision blurred, not because it was monstrous, because it was almost familiar. Human eyes, but placed slightly wrong. A mouth stretched too wide, lips split and puckered with old scars, teeth that looked filed down, uneven, stained dark. It leaned closer to the firelight and smiled. We were here before the water, it said, its voice dropped then, no longer mine. They drown the towns. They bury the bones. They told stories so they wouldn't have to tell the truth. It lifted one hand. Human fingers. Broken nails. Some of us stayed. Behind it, shapes moved. Tall. Waiting. You smell new, it whispered. You smell like leaving. I don't remember packing up. I remember movement. My legs carried me through the trees that grabbed my clothes like hands. The sound behind me wasn't in pursuit. It was patient. Something large followed without hurry. Branches cracked, trunks shook, and beneath it, I heard knocking on trees, on rocks, in the center of my chest. I broke out near the lake just before dawn. The water was unnaturally still, flat as glass, reflecting a gray sky that felt wrong somehow. I collapsed near the shoreline, gasping as if I had run a marathon. Behind me, the forest stopped. Literally, the sound cut off all at once. A tree line. Something watched. It didn't cross the water. It just stood there, tall, motionless, as if the boundary mattered. As if it remembered something about drowning. I left that morning. I didn't tell the ranger what happened. I didn't tell anyone. But my audio recorder came home with me. Weeks later, when I finally reviewed the recordings, I heard something I had never captured intentionally. My voice. I kept talking while I slept, answering questions I don't remember being asked. And at the very end of the last file, 3 slow knocks, right beside my microphone. They still call it a park. They still say it's safe. But the land remembers. It remembers what was taken. It remembers what was burned. And sometimes it makes something to remember for it. If you ever go to the land between the lakes, if you hear the knocking, if you hear your own voice calling from the trees, don't answer. Because some things don't want to scare you. They just want you to stay.